Welcome to InfoSupport videos. This is Harshit and I am here to discuss Parameterized Report. The agenda of this meeting is to discuss what is Parameterized Report and how to create Parameterized Report in the jreport Designer client. What is Parameterized Report? In the Parameterized Reports, the data is displayed after filtering based on the parameters. These parameters can be optional or mandatory parameters. So how to create parameterized report? Very first we need to follow that prerequisite steps like creating the catalog. Creating in the catalog we need to create JDBC connection, import the tables, creating the query. These all things will be same. The rest of the other things that will be needed here, that is creating the parameters. If you'll see, there will be one parameter. We will click on right click on that. We will click on add parameters and the edit parameter window will appear. There we can give name, values, settings, value type, and these options will be there like prompt text, maximum length, minimum length. These property on the basis of requirement you can set it there. So this parameters will be created in the report, and based on our need we will use it in the query to filter the data. So like we previously discussed, two types of parameters are there. So how to create one of them, like optional parameters. So while we are creating the parameters that I shown in the window, there is one property that is required. By default this property is set to false only. So this false means this parameter will not be treated as mandatory parameter. Okay, but means we can run the report without giving it a value, but when we are going to run the report, if this will be passed as a null value, so we can think like what query will be fired on the IDV side, so it will not retrieve the expected records. Like it is always expected, if you are not giving any value in the parameter, it should retrieve all the values. Okay, so in that case what we need to configure here, we need to just in the query editor window, we need to go to the query and select this option, ignore predicate if parameter value is null. What will happen if you'll select this option? By the time when we are running the reports and clicking without giving any value in the parameters, when we are going to run the report, it will not consider this predicate in that part of the query which is using this parameter value. So in that case, like suppose we are using the query select static from table name where column 1 is equal to parameter 1, and if we are not giving any value to the parameter and this property is enabled, so in that case the query will be fired in IDB select static from table name only, and it will retrieve all records. What about next? That is mandatory parameters. In that parameters, what we need to do, we need to just the property that is given in the required tab, we need to set it to true only. So in that case, when by the time when we are running the report, it will ask that this parameter is mandatory. We need to provide the value here. Okay. So we'll see these things in demo also. So this is our jreport Designer client. I have already created a JDBC connection and imported my table, that is test date value. There are two columns. Column 1 is decimal column and column 2 is varchar column here. So in order to create the report, I have to create one query here. So this is my query 1, and I need to add the table here. So this table I will be adding here. Okay, I'll do this way. So currently what will be the SQL here? The SQL will be select starting in selecting all the data. That's fine. Okay. Next thing is I'm going to create the parameters. Like, so this is the edit parameter window. Okay, so in that parameter we need to select which type of parameter we want to create, what will be the data type. Suppose I'm going to give it parameter integer. So here if we want to make it optional and prompt text, like suppose enter the value, click on OK. So this parameter will be created. We will use this parameter in our query editor window. In the query we will provide that filter condition. In the add condition we will give column 1 to filtered out parameter 1. Okay, click on OK, click on SQL, this SQL will be there. Click on apply, click on OK, click on save. It is fine. Now we will go ahead and create one report. Okay. By the time we are running this report, it will show that value. If we will not give any value, it is expected to return some record, but it is not returning because the value that is being passed here is null. Okay, so what we can do here, we'll open this edit query editor window and we'll select this option, ignore predicate if parameter value is null. We will save the changes. Again we'll run the report. So it is retrieving all the records here now. So if you want to make it as mandatory, what we need to do, go here in the required tab, click on true, click on OK, click on save. If you will run it here, so the parameter is a required parameter, please set a value for it. If you will give suppose 1, if the record, it will filter the record and give the record value. For any kind of feedback, we would love to hear from you. You can share your feedback at supportvideos@informatica.com as well as below Twitter link. Thank you.